You're listening to the Replatform podcast, sponsored by Ampliance, an API-first headless CMS and DAM in one, and Klaviyo, an email and SMS marketing automation platform. Today, we're going to take you on a magical e-commerce journey, and it's just myself. My co-host Paul Rogers is unavailable today. So hello to our regular listeners. We do appreciate you tuning back in, and a warm welcome if you join us for the first time. Really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Do subscribe to get episode alerts and like us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, please, to make us feel happy about ourselves. So today's topic is around selling fragrance online, covering things like live shopping, subscriptions, and optimization technology. So let's do a warm welcome to our guest. So let's start with Julian, who's a COO and fragrance shop. How are you, Julian?
Hi, James. I'm very well, thank you.
Thanks for joining us. So do you want to do the elevator pitch? Let people know, who you are, what your role covers, and also what is the fragrance shop's mission? Like who do you sell to and what do you sell?
Yeah, I'm Julian Holt. I'm the Chief Operating Officer. The fragrance shop is the UK's largest independent fragrance retailer. We've been operating in this space now since 2008. We're a strong multi-channel business with 215 stores and a very strong growing e-commerce platform.
Amazing, thanks. And also joining us today is Vikram, who is the founder and CEO at Better Commerce. Hi, Vikram, how are you?
Hi, James. Doing well, thank you.
So it'd be useful to hear from you. Some people will have heard of Better Commerce, others won't. What is Better Commerce? Where does it sit in the market? And also then, I guess for both of you, what is the relationship between the two businesses?
Yeah, so James, we are basically Better Commerce is a headless commerce platform with gives you a lot of capability in terms of composable capability also. And we target primarily mid-market to large enterprise businesses for retail offerings and online businesses. And we've been operational for the last 5 years. And with Fragrance Shop, they've been our marquee customer right from our beginning. And the relationship that we share is they are our biggest customers now.
Fantastic. Right. Gents, are you ready for some questions?
Yes, fire ahead.
Excellent. So, Julian, I'll start with you. We always like to warm up with the technology stack so people can understand a bit more about the business. What does the core tech stack look like for e-commerce? You're on Better Commerce. Is that doing most things, or do you have a wide range of technology around the core commerce platform?
Well, our e-commerce stack consists of different components. I suppose at the heart of it is the Better Commerce Headless platform, which we've integrated through to our POS, ERP and warehousing system. Although the front end, that's managed by our internal team, and we control the full CI/CD pipeline. For real-time analytics, we rely on Better Commerce Analytics module, and that's in addition to Google Analytics. We find that GA struggles to provide consistent and timely data during our seasonal peaks, Black Friday and the final weeks leading up to Christmas. Fragrance selling in the UK is highly seasonal. And with GA, unless you pay an eye-watering price, you really start to lose that consistency at peak time. Because our business needs that session data to be on time every hour, on the hour. And the Better Commerce Analytics module provides that to us. We also use the Better Commerce Customer Data Platform. So we want to make sure that all of the touch points of our customer, those people at that touch point, have as much information as they can about the customer. We call it the Customer 360, and the Customer Data Platform within Better Commerce then powers that. Separately to that, our email marketing and on-site personalization, we use Exponia. And then we've got quite a few sort of third-party tools like Optimizely for A/B testing and Hero for sales chat and video. Overall, I suppose the stack has been pretty consistent for the last few years. But most importantly, it's helped us grow during these very busy COVID times, which has allowed the fragrance shop to grow during that period.
So that's interesting. So you've got development in-house. Do you have the full engineering function then?
Yes, we do. So that's across sort of front end and back end developers. We already have a development team. We at the fragrance shop value doing most of the integrations between third-party systems by ourselves. So we have full stack developers that may or may not be involved in the e-commerce side, but are also involved in other aspects of our business. We also have a product manager, a couple of UX, and a delivery manager.
Fantastic. I find that interesting because it's one of the most competitive recruitment areas for a lot of businesses at the moment.
Absolutely. And it's a real struggle. You've got to find solutions to these. Manchester itself is a it's a hot area for development for developers. So we do need to sort of broaden our strategy a little bit around that. We've been doing that. So we do get obviously development resources from Better Commerce, and we can have fixed price projects and time and materials. We're looking at offshore development teams. In fact, before the call today, we've been using some UX designers from a company called Fraysoft, who are based in Ukraine. I've had a call back from Oleg there saying it's okay, but it just demonstrates, doesn't it, that even things that are close to us in Manchester, when you start outsourcing, you suddenly come across the difficulties in maintaining a relationship. But we hadn't planned that they might go to war.
Yeah, well, I genuinely hope that they will all be okay and their families. It's not a nice time for that. So, Vikram, just a question around the platform. So, you position yourself as a headless platform. I'd love to drill into that a bit more, because headless seems to mean different things to different vendors in terms of technology. So, what is the headless stack? Are you microservices? Are you API? Are you packaged business capabilities? Are you everything? Like, how do you explain what headless really means from a platform point of view?
Yeah, so James, it's very interesting that you ask, because everybody I speak to has got a different view of headless, and they all look at it from a different perspective. The way we look at it, from our end, that the idea is to give customer the power and flexibility of managing their head, which is the customer-facing endpoint. So we built everything around the API-first approach, so the customer can control all their endpoints. So, for example, Fragrance Shop has built their own customer 360 views for their stores, for their mobile, and for their online website as well. And they've built so much on top of our platform. So we expose everything, from customer data platform to everything around through the APIs. So it's a 100% API-first approach where you can essentially do anything on top of it. And the idea is, head is basically your UI, your presentation. And the platform does all the complicated jobs, all the server-side maintenance, patching, all of that, all the complicated logic, it's all maintained there. And then you just focus on the customer endpoints.
Excellent. Thanks for that clarification, because there's a lot of terminology in our industry, and some people listening will understand this and others will be thinking, what does this really mean? So let's talk about some of the functional areas. One area that I'm really interested in chatting about today is live shopping. It's been huge in China, and especially through influencer marketing for a long time. West has been a bit slower to pick up, but the beauty area definitely seems in US and Europe to have embraced it quicker than other areas. And I can see 2022 being the year when more retailers go for M&S has started it, for example. So, Julian, I'd love to know, how do you use live shopping? Do you do it to just have general events for every customer, or are you targeting specific customers with live shopping service?
Well, it's a new part of the sort of service offering from the Fragrance Shop. We use live shopping to provide customers with an interactive and personalised shopping experience. And that personalisation is the key to this. And more importantly, wherever they may be. So we want to educate customers on different brands, different fragrance brands, and create immersive set designs to entertain them. So it's not just about the products and what we're doing, it's the whole entertainment experience. We create content that lives on our website forever and can be repurposed to use across different channels in the future. So we can see there that the outcome of the live channel event isn't just that situation itself, but there's other add-ons and we can start to utilize for the video recordings of those events. We're also looking at introducing video snippets from TFS Live into our Fragrance Expert video chat system, which is powered by Hero, so that browsing customers have the option of viewing specific parts of the recorded TFS Live show that's relevant to their browsing. Generally, the typical TFS Live customer does tend to be slightly younger. They do seem more able to quickly adapt to this new way of shopping. However, we are still learning from who the TFS Live customer really is, and we are anticipating will change as live shopping becomes more common.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks. I think that's a great point about the event and the post-event, because physical events are used to doing post-event marketing. But I've seen a few implementations of live shopping where it's live and it's gone and it's very transient, versus it's a perpetual thing on the site and it keeps linking back to the products that are available.
Yes.
And let's talk about the tech. And I guess this is a question for both of you, because I'd love to understand what role the platform has and what because you've got your own engineering teams, what you've built on top and what you've used for the live streaming. Can you both talk us through how does it work on Better Commerce, the live shopping piece?
Well, from my side, the e-commerce platform is integrated with a third-party streaming service called Bambuser, and that facilitates the live streams onto our website. But this connects directly with a dedicated set of mobile devices running the Bambuser app. That's at the production side. It's all very easy. Sometimes we use external cameras, which require us to use an alternative streaming provider, OBS, to feed the stream back into Bambuser and then onto our website. Other than this, it's very little sophisticated technology is required. For production, we often go live with just a tripod, an iPhone, and some microphones. If you think about what we've learned so far, we've only been running this for 6 months. One of our key learnings from carrying out the live event so far is that compromising and investing in the right technology is not an option and results in a low-quality product. For example, just employing the right sort of microphones to ensure the sound quality is amazing, or ensuring you've got a strong Wi-Fi connection. These things will impact the visual and sound quality of the system. And I think for me, the other one on the business side is, the other key learning is not to make it too complicated. You can go live from anywhere very easily with minimum amounts of production. As long as the set design is engaging, the host is knowledgeable, then the show will perform well.
Yeah, the hardware point is a really good one. We've gone through a painful learning curve on our podcast with some early episodes where I listen back and think, oof. And you can't do anything about short-term outages for Wi-Fi. But you're right. You can at least invest in good infrastructure for it. Good advice. And Vikram, from your point of view, were any changes needed at a platform level with the APIs to enable this, or is it just simply using existing APIs to push data into third parties?
It was straightforward. In fact, to be honest, James, I found out after it had already been live for a month.
It was that straightforward.
Is this when you were shopping on the live stream?
I was talking to Julian and he said, have you seen our live shopping? I said, what is that? He said, go to the website and see. And that's when it's been live for 4 weeks. I said, what? I didn't even know about it. So that's how simple and easy it's become.
Yeah, so it's simply just using existing APIs to get the product data out into the third party then?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And Julian, you seem to get, because I looked in, I played a couple back retrospectively, and what I liked about it is that it shows the stream of the chat that was happening at the time of the event based on where you are in the thing. And you seem to get good chat engagement. Are you able to share any info about like audience sizes and what seems to get them involved and chatting?
Well, I think the first thing is trying to bring on board the sort of right sort of audience. So, we spend quite a bit of time promoting across all our digital channels, sneak peeks and teasers, follow-up reminders, just to make sure we're acquiring the right sort of people that we think could get value from this. We've created a dedicated live selling landing page with all our upcoming videos, so people might hear about it, go and check out what it might look like first, and then turn up for the real show. And then to support the fact that they do turn up, we've got an add-in calendar function on our live selling landing page for upcoming shows, just to remind people. We changed the site strip about 30 minutes before the show to drive customers there, standard customers on our website. And then there's a floating CTA appears on the home page when we're live that shows a minimized version of the show to entice customers. So it's difficult to say at this stage, I suppose, is there any particular type of customer? But what we do is use a lot of digital marketing, which probably pulls into that the right sort of customer that enjoys engaging in chat and feels part of the live show experience. And
were there any challenges with the commerce journey? Because I've seen a couple of tools where the streaming is very, very good, but then the commerce journey becomes clunky. The ability to very quickly add it to a basket and check out within the same tab.
This was the reason why then I started to get engaged actually with Better Commerce again, because we can see that we've got, it's past a proof of concept. It's a viable product and it's going to work.
Yeah.
But now we need to really start to hone that customer experience. We need to get that add to bag functionality as a seamless journey within the TFS live show. And you're right to point that out. And that's what we're working on.
Interesting, because I've got a couple of clients who are in the same position. They're trying to work out whether they just MVP it for proof of concept or they try and fix that challenge first. And I think getting something live is one of the most important things because you learn from it.
Yes. And we are learning every day. We were running these sessions, I think, once a week, and I think we're going to be moving to once a day very soon. So we do see this as a really important way of talking to our customers.
Yeah, I agree, and I think a lot of people are feeling the same things. And it's interesting to see big brands like M&S now pushing ahead with their own live shopping services.
Yeah, we also have. Sorry, James. We also have our fragrance experts. So as a multi-channel business, one of the things we want to do is make sure that the customer experience in all the channels is as good as it can be and is similar. And we've got a wealth of experience in our stores. So the Fragrance Expert Service, which is a chat video service, again, on the website, brings that in-store expertise to the online customer, allowing them to ask questions. An in-store team colleague then can pick up that chat, start responding to them, maybe show some video shots that show off the brands and the displays in the store, and then start to prompt them back with product cards that start to meet the needs and the requirements for their chat. So we're seeing all of these ways in which we can pull that together using the technology of the e-commerce platform.
And did you see the video chats where it's direct with the in-store staff? Does that drive a lot of people back in store? Or is it primarily about trying to help them convert while they're within a web session?
Well, there's a number of things there. I mean, fundamentally, the store staff are very passionate and have that expertise. And of course, they want to drive that customer into store. But and we do have a system where when the chat is offered out to the agents that are available, we do use some location services to try and tie together the customer on the chat to their closest store. But we've got 215 stores around the UK, and it's quite difficult sometimes to make that relevant to the customer. We do want to drive people in store because we do think that there's always going to be a place of fragrance selling in store. It's in store that the store colleagues can bring the story of the brands alive, can display, show and tell the products, can get over the aesthetics. And of course, most importantly, that's where you smell the product. So using our e-commerce platform to drive customers into store is a key part of our strategy.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, no matter how experiential e-commerce can get, you can't smell the fragrance online. I'd be intrigued if anyone can fix that.
Well, I hope we don't.
What is Ampliance? In a word, it's freedom. The freedom to build a digital experience as limitless as your vision. Create, preview, schedule, and manage all your content in one easy place. Find out more at ampliance.com. Ampliance. Experience freedom.
The other part I want to talk about is delivery subscriptions. I know this has been tried by lots of brands, and Amazon were the ones who basically introduced the concept to the market. And you position it slightly differently as membership rather than subscription. Love to know why that approach, and what impact does membership have on your kind of retention?
It's a massive change to our business. It's transformational. It really is end to end. The fragrance shop's always put its customer first. Our strategy revolves around being first for fragrance, and a key part of that is being first for the customer. But ultimately, many of our fragrances can be bought on the high street via other retailers, and we need a point of difference. To others, that's around the customer experience, obviously underpinned by relevant and engaging services. The fragrance shop membership service isn't a delivery subscription. The membership gets exclusive discounts, offers and perks, in addition to those unlimited express deliveries. So really, it's about offering a wealth of different activities and products to that member. We operate in a competitive marketplace. And a number of years ago, we introduced an industry first, 20% off fragrance flash sales. These would operate for a fixed time of day or around seasonal peaks or around month ends. But we wanted to change this. We stopped all of our 20% flash sales in store and online and replaced it with a membership service. If you want 20% off, just become a member. And the basic tier of My TFS gives you 3 opportunities during the year to buy anything with a 20% discount when you want it, not just when we want to run our 20% flash sale. So the key here is now to the customer when they use this discount and not just when we run our flash sales. It's early days for us, but we launched this just over a year ago and we've got 250,000 subscribed members and we're only just starting to annualize. Our target this year is to maintain 75% of those subscribers as we're bringing on new subscribers into the membership scheme. We'll continue to learn and optimize, but in terms of the offer, we'll continue to learn and optimize both the offer, the engagement, and the technologies.
Yeah, it's interesting. The productization of it is what I guess this is what Amazon has taught a lot of people. It's not just about delivery; it's about how you create additional value so that retention rates stay high. And a lot of people just see delivery subscription as pay money, and that's it.
Yeah, I get that, but we want to provide something much broader, much wider than that.
Yeah, I see a parallel in the way that a brand like JD Williams has approached its VIP program, where it really does bundle in lots of like incremental benefits that you get above and beyond being a standard member.
Yes.
I think value means different things to different people. And in terms of setting that up, is it just simply a SKU? So you pay for a SKU on the website and you've got your membership. How does it work technically behind the scenes to get somebody to buy it?
In principle it is, but remember we're a multi-channel business, so we're selling this service both in store and online. So we need to find mechanisms that are consistent across both those two channels. And it is a SKU. We have 3 SKUs, 3 different tiers for the membership. And then we have business logic in our back end that carries out the membership enrollment service based on the sale of that SKU.
And you also, if I've understood correctly, with service like Scent Addict, you have product subscription as well. Yeah,
that's a completely different thing. Scent Addict is a service that provides a way to try different fragrances each month. So we've got nearly 9,000 subscribers at the moment who pay £12 per month, and they get the fragrance of their choice to use in an atomizer. So on their first delivery, they get an atomizer. And then on subsequent deliveries, they get their choice of fragrance in a vial that they can mix and match and interchange into that atomizer. The atomizer is a small device. You can go in your pocket, you can go into your purse. It's very convenient to use. But the key part of this is when you get that monthly delivery, you get a £12 voucher to redeem against that fragrance's full-size bottle. So in a way, it's also very cost-effective. Some customers use this to experiment, to discover new fragrances without a full-size bottle cost. Others decide to stick to a subset of fragrances that are spreading the cost of the fragrance. Some customers like the simplicity of subscribing into a curated list of fragrances that fall into a scent theme. They want to explore citrus or floral, or into a lifestyle theme such as trending, date night, or office wear. To us, we want to make it simple and convenient for the customer to try fragrances at a low cost. But it's also allowing us to better understand the customer. What choices are they making? Do they want to buy the full-size bottle? It helps us to provide a more personalised and relevant service.
Yeah, and I guess it's a really nice way of getting attribute level interest data as well at scale of which ones are more popular at trading people up into purchasing the bigger bottles from the small samples.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice. I really like that approach as well of allowing people to try. It reminds me of going to my favourite pubs where they allow you to try paddles of beers and you have like 4 mini beers instead of buying a pint of something you've never heard of before and then getting to your table and going, oh, that is dishwater. It's horrible. It's a really nice way of allowing you to experiment.
Yeah, but a full-size bottle of a fragrance on a luxury brand could be £125.
Yeah.
Well, you for £12, you can have 8 millilitres of that, which will last about a month. And you can use it in different circumstances, office, into the gym, and then you can commit to that fragrance when you've made the right decision.
Yeah, I think everyone talks about reducing friction, but that's another good example of one of the frictions is the fear of getting it wrong or buyer's remorse, isn't it? And if you minimise that risk, it helps people commit.
Yeah.
And how does it work
Sorry, James. Just to add, both these capabilities, we've built within the platform itself. So, and they're all very well utilized. So the way we've done it is, again, like I said, the whole API-oriented approach. So their store system then makes calls to our APIs to get the membership data or the subscription and make these orders from there itself to directly to our APIs itself. That's how that works.
Okay, cool. And I'm assuming then subscription payments are just a standard payment type that's enabled within the platform.
So we've implemented tokenization, and depending upon which payment gateway we're using, so you have tokens against, and then those tokens are charged on a regular basis as it goes along.
Yeah, so retained and recurring revenue is a wonderful thing to be able to see scaling.
Absolutely.
There's another service you have on the site, Julian, Fragrance Match.
Yeah.
It'd be great to talk people through what it is and what impact that's having. Do you see a different type of customer using that versus something like Scent Addict?
Yeah, well, they are all intermixed. We've got membership, Scent Addict, Fragrance Match, and they are part of unique services that we provide. So our customers have done over 160,000 fragrance matches in the past 10 months. There are many different types of recommender models for recommendation systems, but we see most of them are quite mechanical in their nature, item-to-item co-occurrence, custom-to-item co-occurrence. The fragrance shop, we're industry experts in fragrances, and we've collected hundreds of data points for each fragrance. And here I'm talking about the ingredients, the accords, the components that make up a scent. So what is it that makes that smell the smell? We then use machine learning to figure out product similarities, including the appropriate weighting for each scent attribute. This allows us to make accurate recommendations based on the scent of the product, the smell, irrespective of the price point or the fragrance brand, or more importantly, the perceived audience of the fragrance brand house. That's unique to us. So we then want to incentivize customers, then go on to 215 stores to try those recommendations. In fact, the online customer journey changes when a fragrance match is done in store or a customer receives a previous fragrance match while in store. The customer then can test each fragrance and rate it. So they go into the store, they have their 4 recommendations, they engage with the store colleague, they're going through a testing process. And what I really want them to do at that point is bring up the mobile phone and rate each of those fragrances. The data we're collecting there is like gold dust in 3 ways. We can push back into the machine learning engine, the customer ratings to improve the algorithm. We can understand the customer better to empower us to provide a more personalized service. And then we can provide feedback to the fragrance brand houses to demonstrate your real customer ratings against their fragrances. So it ticks all of those boxes. And where you talk about membership earlier and Scent Addict and Fragrance Match, that's really empowering us to understand our customer better.
Yeah, that's a really smart way of using that data. And how does that work technically on the platform? Is that something you've built custom on top of Better Commerce, or is that using Vikram? Is that using the Better Commerce functionality? How does it work?
This was a combination of things, really. We had the business idea initiative behind that, and then we engaged with Better Commerce to support us to achieve it. They provided service to us, not just the specific e-commerce platform, which the Fragrance Match uses, but they also helped us to develop the pipeline of data and the data transformation. And they also worked with us with the Microsoft Azure machine learning system to optimize that, feed the data in, and then make it available via its recommender model process to the e-commerce platform. So that was quite a collaborative process between ourselves and Better Commerce.
Fantastic. I also want to talk a bit about payments, because buy now, pay later has become hugely popular. There are so many different providers out there. Klarna's the most well-known, and it's got a pretty vibrant marketplace that's driving people direct to retailer stores. But I know that you've got 3 different choices. So I'd love to know, because some people I've looked at have been worried they're confused customers. Like, what was the reason for going down that route of different choices? And do you see distinct audiences then per provider?
Well, this is all new to us at the same time. So we don't see distinct audiences for each buy now, pay later provider. What we want to do is offer the choice to the customer of all new payment technologies, and they're all quickly evolving. New value-added services, different payment stages, and different sign-up criteria are offered by those buy now, pay later providers. We currently use ClearPay, Laybuy, Klarna, and we've recently launched Zip. So, James, we've now got 4 of those available on our e-commerce platform. But to me, the choice provides a friction-free checkout process. Because if a customer already had a relationship with one of those 4 providers, then it creates a frictionless checkout process that we provide that during our checkout, because there is always that complication of onboarding a customer within that buy now, pay later service. So if we've got the service they already use, it's simpler for them to use our checkout.
Yeah, that makes sense. How do you ever get any pushback from new customers who don't use any buy now, pay later and they're not sure which one they should? Or do you just know it's not an issue?
Yeah, no, that's not an issue. What we do see is we're seeing, payment tech is changing pretty quickly. We moved to Adyen a couple of years ago, which proves very successful for us. But we are seeing quite a reduction in card payments. Now, to me, buy now, pay later is just another mechanism of a credit type payment. Yeah. We just want to make sure we're giving the customer the choice. I think customers nowadays, if they're not sure about that or it's confusing for them, they'll stick with the traditional payment methods, PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, etc. But those that want to use these new facilities, then we want to offer them to them. It might be over the next 12 to 18 months that a few of those get more traction than others. It might be that there's a shift or change. You mentioned Klarna, that's the largest provider, well-known provider. But ClearPay, is making big inroads in this, and they are wanting to really bring on people into their services.
Yes, choice is king for customers. And Vikram, from the platform perspective, were there any challenges that you found at Ecommerce enabling buy now, pay later payment methods for customers? Or have you relied purely on the payment gateways to turn those on?
No, it's been fairly straightforward, actually. They provide you very standard, simple tech spec to implement, and it's been fairly straightforward. There hasn't been any challenge as such at all. And we've now integrated, we've got these 4 already running on TFS. Our other customers also tend to use some of these, and it's been absolutely smooth. I don't see any challenges from a technical standpoint.
And are these where the platform has got an integration with them, or because some clients I work with, they'll use something like a Stripe or an Adyen, and actually they'll just turn it on through the gateway, which has got some pros and cons. But you've actually built the capability into the platform.
Yes. So we've got all of these integrated within the platform now.
Okay, fantastic. And then I guess the final topic I wanted to cover for both of you is conversion rate optimization, because as you say, Julian, you're leading fragrance brand. So you've got large revenue, large customer base, and a lot of traffic. So how...
It's all good, that, isn't it?
Well, it is, but that raises challenges, right? Because everything you've talked about is about customer experience, better data, smart decision, which leads to the question around test and learn methodology. I'd love to hear how much of the decision making is just done out of the data versus then testing ideas that the data gives you.
No, I understand. I mean, we're an entrepreneurial driven business, and we've got some good leadership around ideas and initiatives we want to explore. But you're right, it all comes down to deploying something, testing it, and see whether or not it gets traction. Does it become sticky? Do we adjust? Do we test and learn? But to me, conversion rate optimization all starts with the metrics. We use a combination of GA, and I've mentioned earlier the built-in capability of the Better Commerce Analytics module. So session data is streamed into the platform to provide hourly business reports, sessions, bounce rates, new customers, ATV, add to bag percentage, enter checkout percentage, checkout channel, on and on and on, all the way through to conversion. So we run, we've got a product manager and a product team. We run frequent A/B test experiments managed by, it's a reasonably small team, but we do use a third-party product called Optimizely. I can never pronounce that quite right. Optimizely. That's
that's correct.
The one that Episerver acquired, which is now rebranded fully as Optimizely. Yeah.
That's it, yeah. So, I mean, to us, it's the important thing there is experiment has a clear objective, purpose. Yeah. An example would be to test the benefit of adding TFS membership banner above a specific row on a PLP page. You've got a hypothesis, predicting it will increase views, but ultimately the key success metric will be, does the customer then go on to buy membership? We run these about once a week in various different areas, and I think you introduced it quite well, where a reasonably large business, an enterprise-based business, but small changes in conversion optimization, small marginal gains turn out to be big numbers.
And interesting, because you've mentioned the Better Commerce analytics module a few times. So Vikram, I'd love to hear, because analytics and getting the right data views is always a challenge, and most e-commerce platforms have some basic level reporting. But what does your analytics module give people? Like, so what are the data capabilities? How extensive is it, basically?
So James, what we do is essentially we capture the complete event stream, just like the GA does. We do not rely on GA, but we capture all of that event stream, and then that's pushed into our data lake, which we process. And once all of that data is corroborated, then we bring out in terms of reports and analytics dashboard. What we present is essentially product segments, which are your top selling products, top 30% products, top profit margin products, worst performing products, top conversion rating products. So a huge amount of product segments. We've created almost 15, 20 product segments out of the box. We also do customer level segmentation, and then we bring all of that information in a very simple and user-friendly, presentable way. Unlike several other tools where there's too much data, but you really can't make sense of it. It gets difficult. You need to become a scientist to start making some sense out of it. So we've tried to bring it, and we've tried to reduce it as much as we offer. We try to reduce it as well, and we keep it very minimal so that we present information in a most consumable way, and it gives some inferences from that rather than you thinking, okay, what does this information mean? What exactly does that conversion on this PDP going down, what does that mean? What keywords are giving me zero results? We capture all of that and bring that all in a very consolidated way to help you make those decisions better.
And Julian, from the business point of view, how does the team decide when to use GA, when to use this analytics module?
Well, we're now relying on the analytics model for the consistency of, I'd say, the clear defined metrics that are being viewed and measured almost every hour. So we needed that reliability of the consistency of that data. As I mentioned earlier, GA, once it starts to get very busy, it starts sampling, we start to get a lag in the data set. So we're a very metrics-driven business, and we will react to the fact that at 1:05, for example, today, if there is a significant shift against the likelihood and prediction of what conversion, sessions, traffic is, then we'll react to it straight away. So the most important part to us was it has to be reliable, accurate, and consistent. Now, when we come to drill down ad hoc analysis, then we do often go to GA. So when we're exploring and looking for different types of insights, we're reviewing larger timescales, we are wanting to explore different testing mechanisms and seeing results of those, then we'll go to GA for those sort of comparative year-on-year results. But fundamentally, the Better Commerce one is our bread and butter hourly type metrics. Yeah,
understood. And so that's interesting. You say sometimes it's hourly. You're checking specific metrics and reacting.
No, it's every hour. It's not just hourly. It is every hour.
Every hour. And are you talking about micro conversion or just overall site conversion rate? So are there specific conversion rates within the site that you focus on then to say, well, actually, we need to change our merchandising or our pricing or whatever it might be?
Yeah, I mean, we've got very specific measurements. So obviously conversion is there, and that is quite a broad figure. But then you've got the add to bag, we have the enter checkout, and then we've got the funnel stats through the checkout. And to make sure that the customer journey is working smoothly and as expected, we can often see then that maybe there's been a third-party issue. Maybe I'm getting some blips with a third-party tool or a Adyen payment service, and identifying these very quickly helps us to react to manage that problem. We're also looking at promotions, specific promotions, so we can have tagged a few specific products and create a basket of products, and we're looking to see what the activity is. Do we need to consider at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock that the promotional message needs changing? Do we need to change that promotional activity? Now, we'd only go to that sort of level of detail during key season events, or when there's big spend going on at the moment with, for example, pay-per-click, where we're having to micromanage those particular details, just before Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, etc., or double payday, weekends, month ends, etc. So it depends, I suppose, a little bit. The base ones every hour, and then more detailed ones depending on the circumstances.
Excellent. Thanks for the clarity. Yeah, that's an interesting cadence. And I guess that's the reality when you reach a certain size that you need to move from daily to hourly. Because of the volumes and the impact. Excellent. That's the end of my questions. You'll be pleased to hear. So thanks very much to both of you for coming on the podcast. It's been a really interesting session for me.
Okay, thank you, James.
Thank you so
thanks,
much,
Vikram.
James. Thanks.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And for everyone who's been listening, I hope you've enjoyed it just as much. Keep an ear open for our next episode. We drop them every Tuesday. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and give us a like on YouTube, Apple or Spotify. Thanks. Enjoy the rest of your day. For more information on this topic, head over to replatform.fm for our audio podcasts. To discuss a project, or if you'd like to chat about any of the topics covered in this episode in more detail, please reach out to myself, James Gurd, or my co-host Paul Rogers via LinkedIn and Twitter. Thanks again for listening, and keep your ears peeled for the next episode.